Hello everybody, this is Group 6 Timbangan. We will be recording our thoughts, our reflections, and our essay on the given video that we were assigned to, which is how to break free from emotional suppression. Let's first start with the one to my right.
There are three things that need to be discussed when it comes to emotional suppression. The first is the danger of it. Simply put, it can cause a lot of things. First of all, it can cause a lingering feeling of stress, of something in the back of your mind. Have you ever tried that actually? Anyone who's ever tried to suppress their emotions can tell you that it lingers in the back of your mind. That lingering over time can intensify and worsen, and you learn to ignore it. But it can become headaches, it can become anything so much worse, like, for example, brain tumors, cancer, and overall just a lower life expectancy. Trying to suppress your emotions, and instead of acknowledging them, trying to ignore and dismiss them, that will lead to an early death.
Secondly is the cause of it. It is a learned behavior, something that one adapts from their parents, from the people around them. If one's environment does not help or cater to the emotions of someone, then they will learn to suppress and dismiss them. This is something that a child simply cannot comprehend because their brain is not yet fully developed. They do not have the capability to form very healthy coping mechanisms because they're young. They haven't developed it yet. So this behavior needs to be unlearned at a later stage in life, like very often. For example, have you ever seen adults? Right? They tend to ignore their emotions because they never unlearned it. They never learned any better coping mechanisms, specifically because they learned to suppress it at such a young age.
Thirdly, to discuss is how to fix, how to treat and remedy this issue. Now, there's really only one way, and it's to learn better coping mechanisms. When you're a child, you can't really unlearn it. It's very difficult. So either you find help, which is often up to your parents, or you unlearn it at a later stage in life, which can be much harder because when you're older, your neuroplasticity of your brain is much smaller, it's much weaker, it's less malleable. But there is one thing you can do, and that is simply start. You have to try. If you don't try to unlearn a behavior, you will never unlearn it. That is a simple fact here. And so to recap, it's a dangerous thing to practice, emotional suppression methods. It's very dangerous. It is something that can lead to an early death and a miserable life and relationships. And it is something that needs to be unlearned at a later stage in life, which is often incredibly difficult. But it has to be done anyway.
Any society that derives its power from the will of man alone lives apart from God and will crumble in the end. So to relate with what I said, I believe that society has strayed apart from how humans live naturally. We do not have any more social cohesion. We're being more lonely. We are social creatures, but despite that, we are living lonelier lives, despite being even more interconnected, despite having all the technology available in our hands to give us the means to be together. As a result, we have decided to suppress ourselves emotionally. However, when you suppress yourself emotionally, it is like closing up a water tank that has water coming in constantly. Eventually, the water will have to go somewhere.
So, our emotions are like water tanks. We need to let our emotions out sometimes so that the water tank is not filled up. But for some people, they suppress themselves, which leads to the water tanks, in a sense, be filled up too much that it will burst. And when that bursts, it can do unrecoverable damage to those around them and their loved ones. This damage can be in the form of physical outrage or like attacking people, outrage, or more self-destructive tendencies. And another note I've noticed is how the environment of a person can really affect how they act. And for example, if a person lives a life where their parents only give them they give no sense of love, they will grow a life that they want more love, but they do not know how to love because they've never been loved. And it becomes corrupted and warped. Now, to end things off, I would like to say that if we as people cannot change the society, then we must change ourselves for the better. That is all.
Suppressing our emotions is like suppressing our real selves. It's poisonous for us. I know, because I've done that multiple times already. And I still do it occasionally. When you do it, initially, it feels like nothing. And you feel like you can get away with it. But when the bottled up emotions experiences a stimulus that you didn't expect, and it goes out, it explodes, you can't stop it anymore due to the amount there is. And it led to me having a lot of unnecessary fights with the people I love and a lot of crying. It's like a lot of pressure. That's what I can say for suppressing emotions. It's having a corkscrew in a wine bottle that's like shaken already. And that's all I can say about that. Mental health is real, and it can affect us. It can affect our health, our immune system, and everything else that can make you sick or damage you over time. As mental health is part of the health trio that I call it, the physical health and the emotional health. For me, I know that suppressing our emotions is good at times, but whenever it's going out, you need to make sure that you let it out. But don't ever hold it for too long, or it will explode. And I know that suppressing emotions is bad, but we need to control our emotions, not let it control us.
Sometimes I really think about this life. What does it all mean? When our UTS teacher first asked us to watch this video, it came at a difficult time. I mean, we'd already been juggling multiple finals. Surely I wouldn't have time for a video, right? I don't know. The 44 minutes didn't tell. It was certainly a lot of me to go through. Except the speaker had a strange way of speaking. He had this ability. Instead of having multiple points connect to a singular idea, he took an idea, drove it home, and expounded on it. They say, how do we break free from emotional suppression? But then again, why should we break free from emotional suppression? But why is the reason? The creator loops around this simple fact for 44 minutes. Instead of expanding outward, he expands within. What is the point? Emotional suppression ruins you. Psychologically and biologically. Because what is within can wreck what is without. The enemy we have comes from within. Ask yourself that. Like, really ask yourself, how many times have you felt stressed and suddenly you had a stomachache, a headache, something that stopped you? Our emotions are intrinsically linked to how we feel. It is who we are. And that, my friends, is why we must stop emotional suppression. So how do we stop this emotional suppression? We must talk about it. We must stop getting used to the fact that we have to suppress ourselves in order to conform with society. Society is not what it seems like. You can be your true self and still love the way you are. That is what we are meant to do. Stop suppressing. Listen to us right here, right now. Be your true self. Your true self is the only one who will ever understand. Let's hear from you, Neil.
Emotional suppression is like pumping a balloon, and then when you keep on pumping it, it will burst if you hold it longer.
I have a friend who is very stressed when he gets to school. I talked to him, and one of the things that I found out is that the environment that he lives in
is full of toxicity, full of negativities. Let's say that his parents are very stressed, very brings a lot of negative emotions to his home. So that negative emotion, he absorbs it unconsciously, and whenever he starts his day always starts negatively because what he received from his home is negative. So what I mean to say is that our environment plays a very important part in our life, our positivity, our happiness. So we need to foster an environment where it is healthy and an environment that brings a lot of positivity to that person. So the moment I talked to him, I said to him, "Hey, what's the matter? Are you okay?" That instant, he opened up and all his emotion and all the things that he was feeling, suddenly he expressed it, and he told me that it's like the burden has been shared. The burden of feeling all those negativities, he knows that there is someone there to share it to him. So he was glad that he was able to express it to other people, to someone that he trusts. And what happens is that he realized the importance of expressing emotion, not suppressing it. Because the more you suppress your emotion, the more it bottles up and the more heavy it feels it's like a burden in your shoulder. So we need to share those emotions that we are feeling. So to conclude, let's try to release all our emotion. Let's try to diffuse the air in the balloon slowly without popping it, and share our feelings to others.
Many of us suppress emotions, unaware of the impact it has on our well-being, which often leads conflicts and stress. And the video emphasizes that revisiting childhood wounds, it has made me realize that acknowledging the pain, perhaps, not to dwell on it, but a step towards healing from it. And I think the most important part for this is that we really need to be aware of the situations around us, and we, as what all of the members have said previously, we need to learn how to express our emotions, because suppressing them can lead to more pain within ourselves. And we need to be more expressive to anyone or even to yourself. We need to be more open.
What about you, Lawrence?
Emotional suppression and mental health is only something that's now recently being acknowledged by people. And that's mainly because for the longest time, everyone thought that our emotions are considered to be something more personal, something that we have to deal with ourselves, when in reality it affects our world as a whole. And for everyone, to suppress your emotions is to basically damage yourself. Though we do not take that into consideration because people only tend to notice what happens on the outside, not on the inside. For me, I've had my own instances of suppressing my emotions, and in my experience, it may not damage me health-wise. I don't get sick, but from my experience, it drains me. It takes away all the energy I have for a day, and that's even before I reach the end of the day. I end up unmotivated, exhausted easily, and tend to spend most of my time wanting to sleep, and which is why I'm told many times that I look very tired or angry. So, to bottle up our emotions is to essentially keep a fire inside our bodies. And without letting it go, and letting it have a place to vent, that fire just grows until it burns everything within ourselves. So just like the video that we watched explained, um, it is a bad thing to suppress our emotions because those things are not meant to be kept within, but they're meant to be shot out in whichever way we want to, whether it's through expression of art or music or talking to another person. It's important for us to vent out our emotions healthily. Otherwise, we will damage ourselves and worse yet, possibly the people around us. So to conclude, we should not suppress our emotions. We should express ourselves and how we feel.
So this is it, I suppose. The ending of our video! Yay! And we are the group Timbangan, and this is our reflections, our essays, what we feel about the topic that we've been given. And honestly, from what we can, discern from the facts, we just want you to pay attention. We want you to listen.
Guys, you have to take care of yourself. Listen to your inner needs, otherwise you might see things that aren't really there.